Hello, everyone. Today is the 6th of December, Tuesday, and let's quickly have a look at US study where we are with that, and then we can move on to probably USDJPY to mark that pair up. All right. So yesterday we marked up a zone over here, which I believe could be at the. I'm just trying to see I think it's a weekly, was it? Yeah, we do have a weekly zone. Let me just see where we drew that zone, to be honest. Over here, I believe. Okay, so it has moved done a fake out over here. It has come down, and we are teetering over here in the next zone. So though it says bullish pin bar, um, at the moment I'm just not going in yet at the moment, guys, just because I do believe it may come down a little bit, to touch this bit here, this 10 EMA on a daily before it actually goes up. That's my take, or it might just teeter here for a bit. So at the end of the day, overall trend is still buy. If we were to drop down to the 1 hour, um, the zones actually right now would you we can actually redraw the zones, but I'm just gonna leave it for today. So at the you know what, for me, I tell you guys as simple as it gets. Like for me, when I look at a chart, the zones and all that stuff is all great, but when I look at my moving averages and they're all so messy like that, they're not lining up. In my head, I'm already like, you know what? I'm not taking this trade anyway. Even though that's bullish, even though this is a buy right now, and it may actually be a reversal signal because it's kind of like forming a double bottom. I personally still think it's going to go down after, maybe it might just go up a little bit because there's a consolidation zone here. If you can see my blue box, right? And I still do not believe it's ready yet. At least that's what I think, just because the moving averages are not lining up the way I want it to. If you were to drop down to the 15 minutes, it's a sell signal. Just look at it, right? So imagine you got into a buy here because it's a buy signal, basically. Not a buy signal, but a buy. The 200 EMA is showing us that it's a buy trend on the hour. So the thing about this is it is still rejecting this moving average here on the 10, if you guys see this. So I put, even though, and again, even though there's bullish pin bars, I do not think it's quite there yet. It might come down, like I said, touch T200, just the bottom of this bar, this support resistance, reject it, then possibly I'm looking for a buy. But otherwise, right now, I'm still not convinced that it's fully ready to go up. I mean, end of the day, it may still go up, but my moving averages are not lining up anyway. So I will patiently just wait for the trade to set up in a way that I would want it. In my 15 minutes, it has lined up for a sell. All right. Having said that, yeah, it's teetering around here. There is literally no signal for a buy anyway on this 15 minutes. All right. Gonna quickly drop to the 5. Yes, it's still a sell on the 5, obviously, because 15 was a sell. It's only on the higher time frames where you can actually see the overall trend is a buy. It hasn't broken structure for a sell. I don't think it's getting ready for a sell unless it starts to drop further and create a trend. One thing I kind of always remind myself is keep looking out for trends. And the only way we can see trends is basically, like, for example, I'll show you guys. I'm just going to remove the divergence just so that it's easy for you guys to actually see. Going to minimize it. So this is what I called a nice trend, right? If I minimize it, okay, I'm going to hide all of this. Can you guys see this? Right? It's a nice moving upward trend. Like, you look at my moving averages, gonna make it smaller. Look at my moving average here. Like, it's beautifully just moving up with everything fanning out. As of now, it is still a buy. Okay, and look at the pattern. It's come down, it curves in. Look what it did here. It went up, it curves in. It could literally break structure at this point below the second zone that we have drawn and move to a downward. So if you want to see a break of structure, it needs to close below the previous low, really, and then start to form and come back, do a retest, and that's when we know that it's forming higher highs, higher lows, that kind of thing, you know. So or lower highs, lower lows. That's what I meant. So it hasn't done that as of yet. It's still teetering here. we want to see what it's going to do. It might actually just go back up there and start to create the upward trend movement up. And if it is going up, I would think it would be going for the next high would be somewhere. It could possibly reach here, 35,400. That is the mark that I'm looking for, the next consolidation high. But for short term, I would be looking to take it all the way up to around 34,850, and then I would obviously layer up like take profit one, take profit two, that kind of thing. But we have drawn our support resistance, so we kind of take it step by step. Pick one trade, we can always exit or do partials and then go back in again. All right, so that's my take on US 30 at the moment. Like I said, I still do believe it's up, but there's really nothing setting up for me to very confidently go in. Like, I absolutely love this. Look, this is what I mean by a trend. Can you guys see this? Look at the fan. Like, it's so beautiful. We had a bullish pin bar here, right? And you could have ridden all this thing up, and you've had another bullish pin bar here, which you've taken a short one up there. Even if it's just a few candles, just look at that. How many pips would that be? That is a good 1,600 pips almost. Like, that's crazy insane. But that's on a weekly, guys. So obviously your stop loss would also be very high, but you can always address your lot sizes. Just depends whether you want to kind of like keep a trade running for so long. Myself personally, I don't. I kind of trade 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. That's my time frames that I like, and most frequently the hour. I don't do the weeklies and monthlies just because I don't like to hold trades that long and over weekends. But yeah, you can actually see the trend so beautifully. All right. So that's that for US 30. Let's quickly look at USDJPY. Oh, on a weekly, beautiful fan, but it's come back down for a retracement as we can see here. So it has to break on a weekly. I'm talking about it has to break the weekly low, which is 130.376 or 5, about 525 plus minus, yeah, 376. Okay, just an estimate around this region here. If you guys can see that, I'm just going to drop it down to a daily. um so I'm dropping it down to a daily, and on the daily, overall trend is still a buy, but as we can see that it is forming a downtrend. You can see the moving averages are all on the downward movement right now, and it has broken obviously the daily's previous low. Like, here was a break, it came down, did a retest in this zone. Look at this, how beautifully it's lined up. I'm going to show you guys this. Actually, I am going to just off this pin bar indicator, just and the consolidation zone indicator, just so it's cleaner for you guys. But this is so beautiful. Like, if you actually kind of see, sometimes you just see it. So this is a low here. This is a resistance line here. Got it? Okay, look at that. Okay, I'm just going to draw this two on a daily right now. So you can see price broke the previous the support resistance line here. It broke through. It came back to retest the resistance here and the support for this zone and the resistance for this, and it went back down again. And this would be the next. I would draw a next support resistance here, basically. Oopsie. This is where I would draw it, just because prices come back many times this area. Can you guys see here? And right now we are here. Okay, so this is what I mean. So probably it's just going to drop again, and it's creating lower lows right now. So it could be a trend reversal. All right, and on a 1 hour, we can actually see that it is a downtrend. Having said that, we want to see that the moving averages lined up. I'm just going to look. Yeah, we got E divergence here, and it's going to drop like, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I am going to, though this is not a full top-down analysis, I hope you guys can actually see what I'm seeing. Look at the moving averages here. And also, just before I go on to the moving averages, can you guys see how big this support resistance lines are? Which is not really great, just because we drew it on the daily, I think, or the weekly. We drew it on the daily. We don't want to kind of draw it so, because you see there's a lot in between here. Can you guys see this? If you drop down to the 4 hour, you're going to get more support resistance lines, and which is why I say you have to kind of um drop down to lower time frames, just so that you can get better catches, because sometimes it's it will not go all the way up to the higher time frame support resistance. And as I've always said, we have this indicator which is useful which is where is it? Support resistance levels with breaks. Okay, if you want to use that, it will also show you support levels, the resistance levels here. So you see we drew one here, there's another one here, there's another one here. To me, I drew this here, but this is probably a major support according to this app, I mean this indicator. And again, if you drop down to the hour, you can actually see. Can you see it lines up on the hour where I've drawn? Basically, look at all this where I've drawn. It lines up here exactly. So this is what you want to kind of do. Like you can use this, but also learning how to draw your own support level and resistance levels is important, I believe, just so you can actually see where price would go back to test and where you can expect price to go so that you can either put your stop loss there around that area or your take profits. Okay, so at the moment on the 1 hour it is a downtrend. Price is going back up. It could be just a retracement. I am going to just off this breaks indicator just so it's not messy. Like I said, going to do a quick fib. Let's just to see where the Fibonacci is. It is at the 0.618 level and it's dropping back down. Right now we need to wait for, so it is at a zone. So literally, if you believe that this is going to be a downtrend, your entry point would be around the zero point 0.5, take it down all the way to the bottom of this base here, which is the zero. So that would be your markup or your trade. That it's already an active trade and you are in profit. Okay, and again, if you are in profit, it is on you not to leave money on the table. It is on you if you end up taking a loss because you are already in profit. All right. So if I were to just put this, let's just mark this up on a Fibonacci based trade, okay, which I personally don't take it, but oh, it's a short, sorry. It's a short trade. So you would have put it up to the zero point 0.5 and your um, stop loss is here and your take profit is here. There we go. So literally almost 1:2 risk to reward ratio, 149 pips stop loss and 280 pips take profit. Okay, so that would be a Fibonacci based trade basically, but I would literally kind of watch this trade if I were to take it, just because there's, look at that, there's another support resistance level here at 1 hour. So I would basically kind of like adjust and trail my stop losses as I go down. Like I said, if you had taken it at the zero point 0.5, you're already in profit. And that would be, let me just say how much profit you would have been. You're already 55 pips in profit. You should have adjusted it to your break even when you are at about 15 to 20 pips. That's what typically I tend to do. So right now, there's no reason why this should be a losing trade. Even if it does reverse back, it's a break even, so you don't lose anything. Or you could just choose to put it like even 5 to 10 pips down in profit towards the support resistance line here. It could come back here to this 50 year may kind of reject it and then drop back down again, right? But personally, for me, guys, I would just wait for all the moving averages to line up. So my 10 is at the bottom and then 21 and 50. Wait for the pin bar to form. Like, like I'm going to on my pin bar indicator. I'm going to show you guys a quick one. Close this back up here and I'm going to show you if we have a bearish pin bar print. Okay, we don't have a bearish pin bar print as during this trend line here. Oops, going to just see whether, yeah, okay, on the 1 hour it did not show any bearish pin bar, but typically, I mean, there wasn't really a rejection of the 10 EMA, but personally, I think, let me just see where I would have gone in. Yeah, no, I don't see a place where I could have possibly just entered, to be honest. But having said that, so let's drop to the 15. We might have got better opportunities there. On the 15, we had a little bit of buy opportunities, right? When it kind of started going the upwards. But on the down, I'm just going to see if we had anything lining up while it was during this wave period. Okay, I do see kind of bearish pin bars. I'm going to remove this Fibonacci drawing just so that, okay, oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. You know what, guys? This always happens. I did that once and I'm doing it again. And it's annoying when that happens just because um it's yeah, okay. I kind of need to get to the sites in order to make it back the size. Okay, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger so you guys can see where I would have entered on a 15 minutes on this trade. Nice bearish fan out. So this pin bar, bearish pin bar. Mm, even if I did, it would have been a very tight stop loss. I would have thought. For me, I think I would have waited for a nice rejection. Though we could have caught this. Like, look, we had a bearish pin bar here. We had a couple of bearish pin bars, but it was not really a rejection. So probably here, stop loss would have been somewhere around the this year 21 EMA, and I would have written it down all the way. 1:5 risk to reward ratio, or till I feel like it is gonna reverse on me, if that makes sense. But yes, I would have got in somewhere here. I'm just gonna mark this up for you guys just so you can see. Stop loss would have been about 45 pips. This is already 1:2 risk to reward ratio, to be fair. We would have got this. So probably at this pin bar, this bullish pin bar form, I would have come out, but that would have been my take profit, to be honest. Or maybe I would have written it even to the support resistance and trail my stop loss. This is 132 pips, which we did hit it, right? But obviously I would have trailed it, and if I had done it till there, I might have lost it just because I would have already adjusted my stop loss way below. So I might have not, I would have taken profit somewhere around this region where my stop loss was adjusted to, if that makes sense to you guys. So personally, myself, I would have waited for a rejection pin bar before I entered. Maybe even this red candle could have been a possibility. I don't, even if I see a bearish pin bar, for example, I don't really like to see bearish pin bars on a blue just because sometimes I think that it will just go the other direction and not really go bear. In this instance, it did give us a nice, beautiful drop. Like I said, if we kind of keep it really tight, you don't really have much to lose, guys, if you kind of trade very sensibly, okay? So I'm just going to put it back here on this pin bar where it printed bearish. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys. Can you guys see this bearish pin bar where it printed, and the moving averages are all lining up, so we know that it's beautifully on a downtrend. The bearish pin bar printed here, so I'm talking about this candle. Okay, we entered here, for example. My stop loss would have been here. That's about 26 pips, okay? And if you had taken it 1:5, you are way above 1.53, and that's 40 pips for you. If you had just taken this move all the way to the support resistance lines, that's almost 100 pips for you. Right? So literally no drawdown whatsoever on this trade as well. So that's what I kind of always kind of keep saying. There's so many different ways to trade. Like I drew a fib earlier. We could have taken a fib trade, a Fibonacci retracement trade, take it at the zero point 0.5 mark and write it all the way down to zero, and you're already in profit. That's one way of trading. Another way is basically the way that I personally just like to do, though you don't really get that many trades. So you kind of have to kind of watch a couple of pairs. But for me, I'm not so I try not to like get so desperate, if that's the word, to kind of go into that many trades because it just creates anxiety for me. So I kind of just like to wait, be patient, and then when something like that fans out, I can go in multiple times in this particular one move of a trend. Like you could have got it, you had one entry there, probably another entry somewhere down, and I would have gotten three entries in this one move from Wednesday the 30th, for example, and all the way up to Friday the 2nd. So it's 2 days, and I've got a like couple of trades, and I'm done. So you guys get what I'm saying? Like when it actually moves in a trend, there is several opportunities that you would possibly get, especially on a lower time frame. And I just like to kind of capitalize on that rather than trying to take trades which I'm not 100% certain within myself that this going to pan out. Though I'm not saying this will always pan out, all right? It will not always pan out, but I think that in terms of my wins and losses ratio, it's pretty decent. So, yep, so that's my USDJPY at the moment, guys. Yeah, it's just not fanning out, but I do believe it's on a downtrend at the moment. But overall, let me remind myself of the overall trend again. Um, yeah, overall trend is a buy, basically. But like I said, it has broken structures, so it probably is doing it could be a long retracement down, really bleeding it and then really going back up. So let's just wait for the moving averages on the lower time frame to kind of properly see. On a 1 hour, it's still a sell. It's not even a buy signal. So there's no reason for you to take a buy on an hour because the moving averages are not telling you it's a buy. So always, whichever time frame you're trading with, you want to make sure that you are trading with the trend. It's very important, but at the same time, keeping in mind the overall trend in a higher time frame, like the daily or the weekly, so on a higher time frame price is doing that, but on a lower time frame is probably doing reverse, and you can kind of catch those moves and just catch it as long as it's going that way. And over time you realize that if it is actually done a trend reversal, it's actually going on a reverse way, on daily and on a weekly, it is going to start breaking structures, and you're going to start seeing the trend go aligning with the lower time frame trends as well, if that makes sense to you guys. So always trade with the trend and just be patient with your trades, okay? So see you guys tomorrow again with another analysis, and happy trading.